All right, welcome back to day 2, fifth graders, of finding the area of a parallelogram. And if you look at the top of this page, it actually does say find the area and perimeter of parallelograms. So we are going to combine those two concepts, but we know how to find the perimeter of any shape at this point. Now it's just a matter of understanding which numbers we need to use and apply for these different formulas or these different scenarios. So, just as a quick refresher from yesterday, we spent a lot of time manipulating and cutting these parallelograms in half, or at least in different parts here, by representing, I'm going to make that a little smaller line here, cutting these parallelograms into parts and then moving and shifting pieces to get us to understand how parallelograms are the exact same dimensions, they are the exact same formula setup as we would do for a rectangle or finding the area of a rectangle. So as I drew my red line here, if I take and get rid of this entire part, or more specifically, if I take and shift that part across my page and now put that exact same shape on this side, now I have created a newly formed rectangle right here that has the exact same dimensions as our original parallelogram. All right, and in doing that, we now know that we've kind of surrounded or put that 6 centimeter angled line on the inside of our shape, and so it doesn't matter in finding the area, and we can determine that that angled side doesn't factor in to finding the area of this parallelogram. Now, you do not need to draw the picture each time. Hopefully this starts to just become common sense for us as we move forward, guys. But we want to get you to understand why the formula is the same for both rectangles and parallelograms. All right? So, as we look at this now, hopefully we can remember, and I'll write the formula up here. Area equals base times height, or length times width, again, depending on how you want to phrase it or word it. But as we look at our newly formed rectangle from this picture, or our original parallelogram, we see that this has a base right here of 8 centimeters. That's where we're getting that number from. And remember that we want to find our height by finding a perpendicular or straight up and down height, not an angled height. Remember, I gave the reference in yesterday's lesson that if I'm measuring your height as an individual student, or you go to the hospital and they want to measure your height, you are not going to be slouching, you're not going to be leaning over, you're not going to be bending over a table, you're going to be standing up as straight and as tall as you can. And that's the same thing for these shapes. If we are trying to find an absolute height or the true height of a shape, we have to find a perpendicular line, and we see that represented in this square corner at the bottom of this shape. So in this case, as we plug in the numbers, now the height of this rectangle should be 4 centimeters and not the angled 6 centimeters. So I come back over to my formula over here, and the angle for area, for number 12 is going to be plugging in simply the base of 8 and the height of 4. So in this case, the area is going to equal 32. Now, another key aspect of this, guys, is to understand and realize that we are having to label these answers now. We really are stressing the fact that in geometry, the label is basically as important as the finding of the answers themselves. It's one of the reasons we're allowing you to use calculators in this unit, and you just need to remember now, am I measuring it in square units? Am I measuring it in cubic units? Am I measuring it in just regular length units? So for area, guys, remember we are talking about how many squares can fill up the inside. Again, I'm going to shrink down our size of our pen here just so it fits better. We're looking for how many squares will fill the inside of this with area. So our answer for problem number 12 is 32 square centimeters. All right. Now we're going to use that same shape now and talk about perimeter. And again, just a really brief reminder, perimeter, if the example I gave earlier in the year, guys, was if I want to put a fence around my yard to keep my dog inside, I would need to figure out the perimeter of my yard, because the perimeter is the measure of the outside length of my yard. So imagine that this is my yard. I'm going to put a fence around these outside lines, and so now I need to know all the measurements that go around there. Now again, we only see 2 okay, because they only give us the 2, but in most quadrilaterals, parallelograms, rectangles, squares, the opposite sides are equal. So we should know now that this opposite side is also a 6, and this opposite side is also an 8. We should also remember that this is not necessarily a multiplication formula. When we are finding perimeter, we should be adding these numbers together and not multiplying them. We can multiply the opposite sides together, so 6 times 2, not 6 times 6 obviously, but 6 times 2, because we have the opposite sides equal, or 8 times 2 and find it that way, or if it's just easier for us to add these totals up and get to our answer that way. In this case, when I add these 4 numbers up, I should see that my answer, my number, should get me to 28. All right, now again, the importance of the label. Well, we are simply taking, in this case, we could take a ruler and measure the length and realize that the top is 8 centimeters. Take a ruler and realize that both sides are 6 centimeters and at the bottom is 8 centimeters. So we are not figuring out how many squares will cover anything. This is not a three-dimensional shape, so we're not figuring out how much will fill up the inside of a three-dimensional shape. We're simply looking for the overall length of the outside lines. So that is problem number 12. All right, 32 square centimeters for our area. Notice again that the 4 in the middle of this parallelogram has absolutely nothing to do with perimeter. If that number is inside the shape, it does not apply to perimeter. So keep that in mind moving forward. All right, problem number 13 now. We see the numbers here. I'm not going to do nearly as much drawing in the shape. We're simply going to look at the numbers and identify and try to determine what formula or what numbers we're going to plug into this formula moving forward. So we'll be looking for the area first, since that's the top blank. I'm looking for a base of this parallelogram. Well, to me, bases are either tops or bottoms. So if I look at this, I see a base right now of 4. So for finding the area, if I'm saying base times height, 4 times the height. Now, which, 5 or 6, is the true height of this parallelogram? All right, give you a little time to think about that. Remember that I want to measure straight up and down. I want to get my true height. Okay, I'm looking for a perpendicular line or a 90-degree angle. So whenever we see a square corner located like that, that should be our indication that that is our height. So as I look at this one then, I should be going with the number 5 for my height. All right, so pretty simple math. When we get to that point, that means the area of this parallelogram in number 30 is 20. And again, because we are looking at how many squares fill up the inside with area, it should be square centimeters. All right, 20 square centimeters, or again, centimeters squared. If we wanted to go this way, we could make that our label as well. But especially since we're submitting most of our answers now, guys, via Schoology, we have not figured out a real easy way to get that exponent 2 as part of your answer. So I would stick with the square centimeters label. All right. Now let's look at the perimeter of that one. Again, perimeter meaning outside. So that means that that 5, that dotted line on the inside, really has very little, actually no meaning for me when it comes to the perimeter. But I do have to remember that I'm not just adding the 2 numbers up, so my answer cannot be 6 plus 4 gets me to 10. Okay. What I should be noticing here is that, again, opposite sides are equal. If both sides are parallel to one another, that means this side also has to be a 6, and this side also has to be a 4. All right, so now I'm looking at a 10 and a 10, so 10 plus 10. Pretty unique circumstance here, guys, that the answer for both of these is 20. But obviously the answer we're looking for is not the same, because in perimeter, I'm not looking for square centimeters, I'm just looking for centimeters. All right, so the number's the same, but the label is not. So that's our distinction, and that's how we know those numbers are different. All right, I'm going to go over simply one more problem here quickly, and then it'll be up to you guys to make sure that you are checking those answers. Actually, 2 more as I look ahead here. There is one more example that I want to give you. So 14, again, less talking from me, more working on your part. If we're looking for the area of the parallelogram for number 14, I should see a base of 7, and now a height of either 3 or 4. Okay, Hopefully you can determine that at this point. You found the square corner, you found the dotted line that shows me the true height, and hopefully you are recognizing that we are running into an answer of 7 times 3, or 21 square centimeters. All right, and then for the perimeter, again, the 3 doesn't mean anything for me because that is inside the shape, and I'm looking for how much the outside edges total up to. So in this case, I've got a 7 here, and I've got a 4 here. 7 plus 4 is 11. I also have a 7 here and a 4 here, which is another 11, and 11 plus 11 is 22 with a label of straight centimeters. All right, so that's one way to look at this. That's one way to solve this problem. Now, just like when we talked about rectangles before as well, guys, we had questions where they gave us the area. Hey, here's your area. Here's one of the sides. Okay? Now, what is the missing side? Well, if our formula for finding the area of a shape is to multiply those two numbers, if we've got the area, we have to do its opposite. We have to do the inverse operation. We've got to, in this case, undo multiplication by dividing. All right, so in this problem here, number 18, they say the base of this parallelogram is 24 centimeters and its area. Notice they are giving us the area right here of 456 square centimeters. So we are now trying to determine what h equals. That's significant in a couple of ways. Obviously, we now know we have to divide instead of multiply, and that should impact our label. I know we're talking about a lot of area here, so we're thinking square, 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 but in this case, we have the square centimeters, and so our label for this answer would be something different. Now again, I don't think any of us in this room right now know 456 divided by 24 off the top of our head, but it is the reason we're allowing you to use a calculator. So I'm going to give you about 4 or 5 seconds here to pull out a calculator and figure out what is 456 divided by 24. All right, hopefully you've taken the time to do that and figure that out, guys. And you should find out that in doing that, our answer again is smaller than the total, which would be the area, and it should be 19, and again, not square centimeters, because we're simply looking for this height, not the total squares, just 19 centimeters. All right, there is a small exit ticket for you guys to complete today, so please head to that and answer those questions, and hopefully you understand what we are talking about from this lesson. If you don't, please ask questions. Thank you very much.